Hey everybody, what's up y'all? Welcome back to my channel, Tammy Talks here. Let's go ahead and talk Power Book 4, Force, Season 1, Episode 1, A Short Fuse and a Long Memory. So, as we all know, this is Tommy's story, his continuation from the Power universe, I guess they call it now, the Powerverse. So, if you're brand new to my channel, I do breakdowns of various TV shows, both scripted and reality, interjecting my own thoughts, opinions, and theories into each recap. So, if you enjoyed that type of content, go ahead, hit the subscribe button, thumbs up the video if you enjoyed this particular content. Hop into the comment section and let's talk about the episode. Before we get started, I did do a recap on the finale of Power Book 2 Ghost Season 2, which came out right before this episode. So go ahead and I'll link it up in the cards, whichever way it is up there. I'll link it up there and I'll link it at the end, but go ahead and check that out as well. So the episode starts off with Tommy driving his car, and there's a montage of all these different scenes from Power. Like, we see Raina's grave, and we see Lakeisha dead on the ground. We see him choking up, what was his girlfriend's name? We see him choking her up. We see his mother. We see Raina. We see just a bunch of different stills from the original Power, and they're all surrounding around like death and negativity and or him killing somebody. So Tommy is driving and he starts to speed up, starts to accelerate, turns off the lights of his car, and he's just ready to end it all and crash. He's screaming, and I'm like, ooh, this is rough. What an intro. So he ends up slamming on the brakes, and we see that he is at a fork in the road, one way going towards Chicago, the other way going towards Lansing. So Tommy has decided that he's going to go to Chicago. So he pulls up in front of this house in a residential neighborhood, and he pulls out a little baby picture with some writing on the back of it. And we are to presume that the little baby picture is of him. So while he's sitting in the car, he does get a call from Rodolfo. Remember, he is the guy who he ended up was supposed to be working with at the end of Power. I think Tommy appeared in Ghost too, right? Yeah, so when he was getting ready to leave, when he was getting ready to leave and head to LA, that's what he was supposed to be working with. That's like the new Connect. So he gets a call from him asking him why he is not in LA. He was supposed to be there yesterday. Tommy said he'll get there when he get there, okay? Don't keep calling him. He will get there when he gets there. So he comes to because there's some man that's like knocking on his car, telling him to move because this is his parking spot unless you got a fee. And you see all these random objects in the street of like placeholders for cars. So Tommy gets out the car and the guy puts a knife out on him. And it's so funny because whenever we see these instances of Tommy getting into it and getting into it with people that really think that he's just like a little punk, I'm always like, y'all have no idea who y'all are playing with. So the guy pulls out a knife. Tommy laughs at him and shows the man his gun, and it's like, okay. So the guy is like, that's cool. I was getting ready to leave anyways. But Tommy asks him, what happened to the old lady that used to live in this particular house? Where is she buried at? And the guy is like, she's not dead. She's just over in like this like nursing home. So Tommy goes over to the nursing home. He walks in and he's kind of looking for the woman that he's looking for, and he sees this older woman. I'm assuming this is his grandmother, but when he sees her in a wheelchair, she looks out of it, probably has dementia or something like that. He sees her side profile, and then he just turns and leaves quickly because he thought that she was dead. So for her to be alive is kind of a, oh, okay. So we switch over to a jail scene. We see an inmate that is cutting another prisoner's hair. And, you know, he has to let them know every time he picks up a blade, razor up. All right, razor down. So the guy's hair that he's cutting is kind of like, why is this taking you so long? This is not how long a typical cut takes. The guy who is cutting the hair, the barber, we'll call him, he tells him that, you know, this is his last cut with him. So he's just trying to, you know, soak it all in because he doesn't know when next time he'll be able to see him and cut his hair again. And the guy getting his haircut was like, I should never see you again because he's getting out of jail. So after the haircut is over, he walks back up to his cell, and we see three men. One is in like a wheelchair, two men around him. They're all prisoners, and they're like, okay, we're gonna wait till he gets comfortable on the outside, and then we're gonna make the call. So I don't know if they are against him and they're gonna try to like kill him outside of jail, or if they're just gonna try to soak him for money once he's out and established and all that other type of stuff. Tommy goes into a bar and he orders a double shot of Jameson. The bartender comes over and Tommy tells her that like something smells good. She has pepper pot soup. Tommy said that he likes it. He hasn't had it in a while. He wants to try some. She said, wow, most people have no idea what it is. That's cool. You can have some when you come back later when the kitchen is open. So Tommy's like, the damn kitchen ain't open. Why are y'all cooking it? That was my thought, but cook up the batches, be ready for the night crowd. So he tells her that he eats everything. I said, okay, very suggestive in a way. And they have like this little flirting between the two of them. And I'm like, okay, so this might be Tommy's love interest, at least for the next couple of episodes. So we now see the prisoner, because we still have not heard his name, unless I just didn't notice his name. But we see the prisoner is leaving. He's walking out and he's, gathering his belongings from the guard. The guard holds up some J's and it's like, these are worth a lot on StockX. I'll give you $150 for them. He said, I don't know what StockX is, but I know they're worth way more than $150. That's how long he has been in jail. So the guard tells him, we wanted to give you something, to help you out in the real world. And they give him like a nice barber set, with like the scissors and the razors and all that type of stuff. So he's super grateful and he tells the guard that he can go ahead and keep the shoes. So he walks outside and he meets up with So he walks outside and he gets picked up by his brother Gennard. So his brother asks him like, where were your shoes? And he was like, oh, they were been there. So his brother is on go, like, who did it? I'm like, you about to go in there and do what to get the shoes back? Who people be dumb. So, but he kind of tells him like, it's cool. Let's go ahead and get out of here. He's like touching the water, touching the ground. Everything is different because he's been locked down for so long. So Tommy is standing outside of the bar that he was in earlier because he came back to get his damn dinner. And a car pulls up and there's a man in the passenger side that's like, yeah, move your car. And Tommy kind of looked and was like, what is with people and the parking here in Chicago? What is going on here? So the other guy in the front, like the driver, gets pissed. So they jump out the car. They're ready to fight Tommy. Tommy ain't no punk. So Tommy more than likely was going to pull out his gun and just start shooting him. So all of a sudden, the backseat window rolls down. And they're like, relax, stop fighting, talking to the two men, Simon and Vic. So the guy in the backseat gets out and tells Tommy, I'm in a rush. I got somewhere urgent that I need to be. If I can ask you to please just move your car. Tommy was like, sure. That's how you ask somebody. So we see the two other men, Simon and Vic, they go into the bar. So then it pans over to this woman that's in this like creepy ass dark castle looking room. And she's sitting in what looks like sitting behind a big desk in like a chair, which we can only assume is like a boss's chair. So we see this older man comes in, and we find out later that his name is Walter Flynn. And his daughter is Claudia, that's the girl. She was telling him, I didn't know you were home. And he's like, obviously, because you playing around in my office, basically. They are part of the Flynn family. They're like a big drug family, probably has mafia ties. Something along those lines. Claudia wants to start running the day-to-day of the crime, illegal side of the organization over her brother Vic. Who we find out is the guy from the bar. So her father is like, why do you want to do that? What can you do to help us out in the streets? And he like grabs her hands and they're like, what are these, two little weak fists supposed to do? Your brother is the muscle. That's what your brother's going to keep doing. You are what keeps us clean. I need you to know your place, basically. We switch back over to the bar, and Tommy has walked into the bar because he want to get his soup. The bartender is happy to see him again. Um, the bartender is happy to see him, and so she like pours some rum. He's like, nope, I don't do rum, but she like takes a sip of it and gives it to him. I said, oh, okay. So then we hear like commotion at the end of the bar. And it is the same guy from our friend Simon that's getting into it with one of the patrons. So the bartender goes over and she was like, are you okay, girl? You good? The woman walks away and she tells Simon, what are you even still doing here? Simon tells her, like he starts to say, I'm here to watch you. She said, look, you are an errand boy, a glorified bag boy. You're a bitch, basically. Don't come over here trying to get big and fresh with me. So we see, before that, we find out that Vic and the bartender have something going on. I hate like the first episode of any show because there's so many different moving pieces that you just don't know. So they have something going on. Now, when they were outside, when Tommy was still outside, the backseat guy told Tommy, don't mess with these people. Like, this ain't really what you want. This is the Flynn family. Like, just stay clear of anything that's going on with them. And Tommy was kind of on some, I'm not scared of anybody, whatever. So the bartender goes into the back to go get Tommy's food for him. Tommy is looking now at Simon because Tommy don't like the way that Simon was talking to the bartender, who he might possibly could want to make his new boo. So Tommy follows Simon outside, beats him up, breaks his wrist, takes his phone, and sees the text messages of him getting ready to meet up for a drop with Vic. The bartender comes out and is like, well, this is not going to be good, because she's seeing Simon on the ground all beat up. And Tommy was like, would this fall back on you in any way? She was like, not at all. Not at all. But then she tells Tommy, your dinner is ready. And they end up, Tommy smiles, because he was going to leave Chicago, but Tommy smiles and goes and follows her. So we have Claudia, who is out at the bar. We know that Claudia is Walter Flynn's daughter. She comes in, and she's meeting up with some of her friends. They're like, here is some liquor from my dad's private distillery off of Moscow. It's meant to be sipped. She takes the shit like a shot, and then she goes over to some random woman that's dancing in the club, takes a bump of like gold cocaine off her hand, and then they end up going back and having very high drug-induced sex. The nenext morning after they wake up, she asks the girl, that drug that I had was unlike anything I've ever had. Do you have more of it? Because, she's trying to solidify herself within her dad's drug organization. So Tommy has sex with the bartender, Ivy. And after they're done, Tommy sees like some military stuff over to the side. He asks her, did she serve? She said no, her husband did, but he was killed in the line of fire, so he never made it back. He asked her, did she like being married? She said she hasn't been married for too long, so she really doesn't know. She asked Tommy, has he ever been married? And we know that he was going to propose to Lakeisha, and he tells her he got really close. She tells him, you still have time, you can always get close again. And I'm like, yeah, they probably gonna end up getting together very, very soon, if not sometime throughout this entire season. So Tommy sees the message on Simon's phone once again, and he's like, I gotta go, kisses her, and leaves. So Tommy goes and pulls up to the location that was on the phone. He sees Vic sitting in the car. So Tommy shoots through the windshield. to get Vic to look up and tells him, we're going to meet the Connect. Let's go. So Tommy kept asking him, how many people are going to be here? Who's going to be here? What is this for? Asking all these pertinent questions. And when Vic doesn't want to answer, Tommy is like, I will kill you right now. I have literally nothing to lose. It's cool. So they get in there. It's another black guy, Gennard, which is the same guy that picked up the prisoner from earlier. And then it's like two coked out or like super high other little white boys in there. So everybody's confused who everybody is. Nobody knows who Tommy is. They're looking for I think it said Gandalf. Zandorf or something like that, who apparently is supposed to have been the one delivering the drugs. So these other two guys are clearly high off their own supply, so they're waving the guns around all crazy, and Tommy is like, do you have the money to pay them? Vic came light with the money, didn't bring enough to pay him. So now Gennard is irritated about that, and Tommy is like, why would you come light? Why wouldn't you come with all the money? So he's talking to the other guys, kind of telling them, this is your first drop. That's why y'all are so nervous. That's where all this is going. Like, that's why everything is going crazy. It turns into a damn shootout. Tommy ends up killing one of the guys, and then the other one, he shoots like 3 times, like in the ankle, the arm, different things like that, like flesh wound shots. And then Tommy tells them, tells Gennard and Vic, one of y'all need to pay me because I just saved your lives. And Gennard is like, I'm not going to pay because this is your fault. He came with you. So basically, Gennard works for CBI, which is the Chicago Brothers Inc., which is another drug organization. And he always feels that Walter Flynn, Vic's father, always pushes back everything against CBI. So he's like, you have to pay him. So the crazy part is Vic gives Tommy all the money he came with, and then Tommy literally picks up the drugs and walks out. So I'm like, it's 2 of y'all. Y'all didn't have no more bullets left? Why would y'all let Tommy just walk out and walk past y'all? I thought that was hilarious. So then we see Gennard is talking to the prisoner. We still don't know his name. We find out later. Before somebody says his name, I know we find out later in the episode. At this point, we don't know his name. So Gennard is talking to the prisoner, who is his brother, and he's like, let me get this straight. So some random dude came in, saved your life. He's like, no, my gun jammed. And it's like, any way you want to flip it to make yourself look better, he saved your life. So he's telling him about it, and it's like, well, let's go pay a visit to him. We need to go find him. Claudia, on the other hand, is talking to Vic and telling him that, like, she don't want to have to keep worrying about him. And he was like, you don't have to worry about me. It's fine. Because, Vic is, like, getting, like, this random cocaine to kind of flip it and sell it real quick. And she's like, this stuff is beneath us. You need to start, using your head, making better sense and using better logic. So Tommy's in the car and he Googles the Flynn family to find out that they were like, a big deal in Chicago. And then he also Googles CBI, and we see that the prisoner is the head of CBI, and he's just been in jail because he got taken down. Tommy goes back to the nursing home, and he is in like the greenhouse, and he sees the older woman, his grandmother, and he's like, do you remember me? My mom said you was dead, but it's me, Tommy. And he shows her the picture, and she's like, Tommy. So, like, she remembers him, and then, like, that was it. Quick flicker. So Tommy is looking at her, and then he finally leaves and walks away. As Tommy is walking away, we see somebody was, like, in the window kind of watching him. So Tommy turns around and is getting ready to pull a gun out on the guy, and it's a black man, and he's like, what are you doing in there visiting my grandmother? Tommy was like, that's my grandmother. So the same inscription, the quote that was on the back of the picture of Tommy, that guy has tattooed on his arm. Come to find out, that is Tommy's brother. This is what I don't understand. We know who Tommy's mother is. It's Kate's crazy ass. We know Tommy's father was, I can't think of his name. but he's dead. His father was that like big drug lord in New York. So where would this brother have come from? But nonetheless, so that is Tommy's brother. So they're talking about it. They're outside smoking, like trying to make sense of everything that happened. Tommy's tells his brother, "Why don't you give me your phone number, and then I can call you or something?" Once this kind of starts to make sense to the both of us. His brother was like, "Cool," and was like, "So all I know is that your mom's name is Catherine." He was like, "She ain't royalty. Her name is Kate, and she's dead to me." I said, "All right." Remember, Tommy is pissed at his mama still. He's always mad at his mother. So Gennaro takes the prisoner and they walk into a barbershop. And the brother is like, "Thank you for keeping up with the payments. Like, I owe you a salary for this." And Gennaro was like, "Oh, I didn't keep up with the payments. I bought it because it's better to own than to rent." Tells him that the property taxes and the utilities and all that stuff is paid up for the rest of the year. So all you need to do is, get to going. And he tells him you can even change the name. Brother Prisoner wants to keep the name the same because this is what started everything for them. Then he tells him, like, "I'm not the same person. We're going to start to do things a little differently." Gennaro seems a little irritated by that. And then the brother tells him, "Because I don't kill people anymore." So it seems like he may want to turn over a new leaf. Whereas Gennaro is like still on the bug. So Gennaro leaves and tells him that, "I'll be back later to get you, and we're going to take you out. We're going to have a good time. Give you a real, welcome home." Tommy's at the gas station and throws his brother's phone number away before like having a moment and being like, "Damn." And he goes back and gets it out of the garbage. Now I don't know if his brother is just going to be a link for him to have some type of family, or if his brother is actually going to eventually get into like business with him at some point. Both would be kind of good for Tommy because but Tommy's like a loner. He really don't need nobody or want anybody. So the brother is still at the barbershop, like, just soaking it all in, getting his stuff together. And some random man walks in and it's like, "Oh, cool, the barbershop. Nice to see it open again." And prisoner brother is like, "We're not open yet, but you can come on back." Trying to tell him you can come back tomorrow. But the guy comes in, sits down, opens up a paper, and is looking around. I said, "Oh, he's going to be trouble." So he gets a phone call and it's like, "Okay, I'll be there in 5." So then he basically tells the prisoner, "Welcome home, Diamond." So his name is Diamond. So Diamond, I don't think it's going to be as easy for you to get out the game or whatever you thought you were going to do like you thought it was. Because you already have a situation. Already. So then we have Rodolfo is calling Tommy once again while Tommy's driving. Tommy is mad and is telling him, "Quit calling me. I will get there when I get there." Meanwhile, a bunch of like SUVs surround Tommy and like block him in. He tries to swerve on them and, turn around real quick, and he can't. The same man that was in the backseat of the car gets in Tommy's car and it's like, "I told you to just leave town and not get mixed up with this family. Look at us now." So basically they go and meet up with Walter Flynn, the Flynn family, and it's all this fire and stuff around. He's creepy. And basically Tommy tells him, "You're welcome for saving your son. Because if you wanted to kill me, you would have killed me already." And Tommy gives him the drugs back because he don't care about that. So Flynn tells Tommy that, "You need to go on ahead and get on out my city. Thank you for what you did. Appreciate you, but you can't be here. And because you have started a bunch of little fires. And I'm going to put those out for you as a thank you." So Vic walks up and Tommy just kind of looks at them and laughs. And Tommy walks away off to his car. So Walter Flynn throws the drugs back to his son, and you can just see a look of disappointment. Like, you really had one job to do, and you effed that up. So Tommy gets in the car, and he's driving, and Rodolfo calls him again. Tommy's mad, tells him to go fuck himself, said he's done working for people. He's going to start working for himself, and he's going to stay right here in Chicago. And then we see him, like, driving past some big landmarks in Chicago, the Chicago theater sign, and we see the L train, and that's how Force went off. I thought it was a good opener. Again, whenever you have a new show, you're trying to get so much new information out about each character, little bits of backstory. You're trying to introduce every character. So hopefully next episode goes a lot smoother and we can really get into seeing Tommy build his organization. So I'm interested to see if Tommy is going to work with Flynn or if Tommy is going to go CBI. Based on the previews for like what they show for the entire season, it looks like Tommy's going to be kind of on both sides. That's what I got from it, at least. But let me know how you guys felt about this episode, and I will catch you guys in the next one.